Hello traders, Cory Mitchell here. Going to look at the examples of a couple strategies that I've talked about on thestreet.com/forex recently. We have the technical turnaround strategy, we have the failed technical turnaround, and we have the session high-low strategy. So I'll provide links in the article wherever you're seeing this, and also if you're watching it on YouTube or something like that, you'll see the links below the video for these strategies. This is the overlap period. This is where London is open as well as the US. London has just closed and we've moved into just the US session. So London is the yellow, the overlap period is the green, and the US is blue, which we're getting into now. So we're going to look at the overlap period. That's when a lot of the US and Canadian traders are going to be trading. And this was the session high so far from London, and we moved up close to it, pulled back, and started to just contract a little bit, and we were starting to form a couple consolidations here. So this was a possible session high-low strategy where we'd be looking for a consolidation and then the price to at least potentially clear these areas. We just look for 2 to 1. So if we got into this trade or had a full consolidation, it really only consolidated for about 2 minutes. Typically I look for at least 3. But if this is really compelling, I didn't take this one, then we'd be looking for about a 2 to 1. So you would have been out just near these prior highs, or even this one started to kind of consolidate again there, didn't quite make it, and would have been able to get a 2 to 1 on that one as well if it had consolidated. So a potential setup there, I put it in just as an example to show, because it was there potentially setting up. We just needed a little bit more consolidation to fit the strategy perfectly, and that would have resulted in a profitable trade, but it didn't quite set up as well as I like. But these are quite good because we often, once we get close to that high and we've pushed into it and then we start pushing back up toward it, more often than not, we're going to get that spike to it to try to clear all the stops above it. So you're going to get at least, it doesn't always continue to run above it, but usually at least you see that spike up, sometimes a pin bar, and then it pulls back the other way. Sometimes it keeps running. That's why we just use the 2 to 1. It's conservative, gets us out near the prior high. Anyway, so we continue to move up. This was a big drop off. So this would be a technical turnaround where we start looking for, we wait for one more price swing, we want to see the price consolidate, and then because this was such a big drop, we're starting to actually possibly see a trend reversal because we have a lower swing low. We would be looking for this to drop lower. It consolidates, but it doesn't drop below the consolidation. We have 1, 2, 3 bars there where it consolidates. That's what we're looking for. After that, we want to see it drop out the bottom to continue this downtrend. It did not. So that is a failed technical turnaround, also very tradable. Because basically, this big upward move looked like it might reverse, but it didn't. So we're still trading in this overall direction. We just had a bit of a hiccup here. If it would have broken to the downside, we would have taken it. But since the consolidation did not break to the downside and broke up, we were taking that. So that would have been a +2. And by +2, I just mean a 2 to 1 reward to risk. If you were risking 1% of your account on that trade, that means you'd be up 2% on your account. So easily out there on this next spike up. So +2. This one, a technical turnaround possibly could form because we've basically erased this entire up move, but we don't get any consolidations right away. We have all this choppy movement. Here we have this really choppy movement. So no trades in here just because we have these long tails. I'd prefer to wait for a little bit tighter consolidations, and we don't have really anything compelling going on in here. Here again we have a technical turnaround. We've had some choppiness. This is why it's a technical turnaround, because we have a move up, so we're starting to make a little bit higher swing highs here. but then we make a lower swing low again, so that changes our bias back to the downside. We have the price swing, we have a consolidation, we break out the bottom, we go short, the price pops back above, we lose 1% or whatever you're risking on the trade. And then we have the opportunity to get long here because there is a failed technical turnaround. So you could have bought this failed technical turnaround, or we could have traded this technical turnaround here, where basically the price has come back here to this prior high or very close to it. We have a swing down, a consolidation, and a break to the upside. So either way, you probably would have only got into one of these trades, either this one or this one, so we had +2. So you basically had 2 winning trades today, 1 losing trade, and a possible one here. This one was a little bit tougher to get into, but another possible winner there if you had been just eyeing that session high. So those are the trades for today, how you could look at that during the overlap session, the EURUSD. This is the 1 minute chart. I only use this on the 1 minute chart. It may work on other time frames and other pairs, but I only trade it on the 1 minute chart. So those are the trades for today, and over time we'll start looking at some other strategies you could potentially incorporate, but just using these 3 strategies, if we include the session high low, there's typically at least a few trades a day, and that's some examples of how you can trade them. In the meantime, happy trading.